Facebook world. The audience is in. He just asked me how old I was, and I said I'm 68, turning 69. Anyway, you know what? By the way, can I just give everyone a really big tip? For your profile photo, use a really bad one, everyone. So when they meet you face to face, they think, wow, man, you look really good, right? Because the opposite's bad. Daniel, you know, when you see that occasional photo that you've taken 30 years ago, and that's your profile card, and then they see you at a listing presentation and they think to themselves, man, that is not what we thought you looked like.
I've had it before, unfortunately, Tom.
You look
We've
great.
all been there and done that. Thanks, mate.
Great.
I appreciate it.
And before we kick it off, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, it is that time of the month, Tech Tuesday, brought to you by our partners, Realtor. And nothing makes me happier when I hear someone that's been using another product that's come over to Realtor, whether, I won't mention any names. You know who they are.
No way.
They all come to the good ones. By the way, commiserations, Daniel, commiserations 3 months ago.
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there, please.
3 months ago, South Sydney Rugby League Club. You know, John McGrath's one of my best mates, and he was saying to me, because he's on the board of the Rabbits, he said, Tom, look at them. They're just too good, mate. They're just too good. And then all of a sudden, Daniel, what happened, Daniel?
In-house. That's all I'll say. We'll say no more.
In-house.
I could say the same for you, Tom.
100% you can, because the good thing about the West Tigers, last year, you know what they said, Daniel? We can't get any worse. Guess what? They were wrong. A new team came into the competition, which made it 17th. So we went from 16th to 17th. So it can get worse. I actually saw him this morning. I'm good friends with your halfback's father, Ilias's father.
Yes.
He trains at any time.
Good Greek boy.
Good Greek boy. So, by the way, everyone, brought to you by Realtor. The gentleman you're seeing is Daniel Starr. Daniel Starr is an extraordinary real estate agent and an amazing client of mine, long-term. I've always been curious to ask you. I know the firm is Starr Partners. You've got that surname. What's the relationship?
Well, it all kicked off many moons ago. We're a 50-year-old company now. So my uncle, John Starr, kicked it off. And I believe Tom used to work with a company called Robert R. Andrews.
Correct.
Who my uncle, John Starr, used to have a number of offices with. And much later on, we broke away. And my father, 44 years ago, come down from Wagga Wagga as a valuer, came down, joined my uncle, John, and became a real estate agent. And might have been pressured by me popping out. I don't know. Who knows? But either way, became very big. And a lot of the offices stemmed from this Maryland's office. And at one point we went, John went, hey, look, and a lot of his other, friends and it was very close-knit community. And formed Starr Partners, hence the partners name in it. So, respect of the other partners, it's not just all about Starr and the surname. John was obviously the forefront, and my father was very heavily involved here at the Maryland's office. But it certainly did take off, and we've been here ever since. And we want to be here for another 50 or another 150 years. It'd be great to pass on the legacy.
Now, listen, you're at Maryland's. You're a good agent. You write good numbers. Can I ask you, what's a good number of sales that you do, your team does a year? As
a business or as a personal myself?
Personal, yeah.
I think last year I did about 140 sales. Obviously with the drop in listings this year, it's evident across the board. I'm hovering around about 100, 110 in that range. So our average fee or our average sale price is around that $950 to $1 million. So it's obviously a little harder balancing both the managerial side of things, but also running teams and also being a listing agent and so on. So I like the fact that Matt Carpenter, which is works, he's one of my business partner, and he and I run the sales department, and it's been a great partnership there. And we've, really got a great team around us, and we work very differently. But yeah, no, about 100. Most of our agents would be doing anywhere from 70 and up in most cases, transactions.
Mate, on those sorts of numbers, you yourself, your own sales business, like meaning what you do individually as an agent with your assistant, you'd be close. Would you be writing 1.5 million to 2 million?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Mate, yeah. Congratulations. Well done. You should be very,
Thank you.
very, very proud. Now, I want to ask you, what are the main things about your business that keeps you awake at night?
I think the innovation of the business, it's never dull, Tom. Like, where do you get a business that is so good? You turn up to work, you got different people every single week. You bump into people, you hear about stories from people that it blows my mind. It's like, you bump into somebody 10 years later, they've got a whole new family, they've got kids and a lot and so on. And it's really exciting. So I think just the innovation of the whole thing and adding to what we've done yesterday. So I heard a really good one. Actually, I think I even listened to a podcast that you were on, and they were talking about, about a bit about this and being better than what you were yesterday. That's something that's really gets me out of bed. So I think that, and I'm just generally excited about real estate. I'm an extrovert by trade, and really love, I love the challenges for the day next.
What stresses you the most about work?
Stresses? I suppose I just want to make sure that we do the right job for the customer. So if we go in a bat and we've let them down, that stresses me out. And the other thing too is, everyone wants to be loved, Tom. We all know that. We want to be, loved by every vendor. We want to be loved by every buyer. Now, there's not every circumstance that we can actually be loved as an agent, let's face it, we're on the back foot to start with. But I think that's probably what stresses me out a bit, is wanting to be good to everyone. We realize in time, as we become more experienced, maybe we can't be that to everybody, but if we're at 99% of the time we are, fantastic.
I love that. I want to ask you, before we came on air, you said to me, this is my favorite subject, tech.
Sure is.
Wow.
Love it.
I thought to myself, this is good, because a lot of real estate agents I speak to, it's not their favorite subject. Some of them actually would say, it's actually stresses me. I actually wish it wasn't there. Tell me what you like about tech, and more importantly, what problems does tech solve for you?
Yeah, well, I think it's replication of the same thing consistently over and over. So we all fall, when we're stressed, we're talking about stress earlier. When we're stressed, we fall back on what we're familiar with, right? And we just fall back into that. And it could be good or bad. But if we create good habits and we create a platform for ourselves, and we're doing hundreds and hundreds of sales a year as a business. I might do 110, right? I might list 150. Now, if I'm going to pitch to somebody, I want that pitch to be perfect. I want it to be replicatable. I want it to be easy for my team. I want it to be easy for the customer to understand. I want it perfect. And when I'm in the side of the car, pulled over, and it's often our mobile office in many cases, and we're out, some days you could sometimes be out of the office most of the day. So what can get you mobile, professional, and speed? I think you coined it also yourself and John McGrath. You said speed is the new currency.
Yeah.
And I think if you can do that and you can replicate that, create that speed of efficiencies, I think that's really key. But also it gives some framework for our agents and myself to run off the same key points that we want to answer for that client. The clients obviously want to know our price. They want comparables of contrast. They want, a good marketing structure. Show that you know it. Give some examples of maybe methods of sale that might be preferable. It just adds the polish. Tech does not do your job. But you know what it does do? It makes you look bloody good when you get it right. And it saves you time. and you can do more of it and you can scale it. So that's what I love about tech. Now, I'm not going to say, as I said, tech's going to solve all your problems, but if you are resistant to tech, and we all are at first, I think it's going to hold you back as an agent and your growth, particularly in the new age. Now, I've seen 80-year-olds with, you're 69, as you said earlier. Just kidding. But, I've seen 80-year-olds with iPhones and, they're on WhatsApp and they're on, all these different, and they're on Facebook and so on. And these people are researching you on your digital exposure as well. So if you're not with it, you're going to miss out. There's going to be a big slug that you're going to miss out on, and you're going to get left behind. So you just got to evolve. I'm sure the abacus went out the window when the calculator came.
Listen, 100% it did. And I've got to say to you, you've been a guy that's been in both camps, because you've been brought up in an era that I was brought up in real estate. And there was a period of time when we used to use 3x5 card boxes for our database system, right? There was a period of time where we used to run around and get the newspaper ads had to get done and signed off on, right? But in 2023, the reality is, Daniel, you can actually shoot a video on your iPhone, send it out to 30,000 people before it even goes on to REA and Domain. And you could have someone that signs a contract from Dubai on a property without seeing it, using electronic signature sign on glass, like, Realtair. This is what technology has actually done. It's actually made it a lot easier. Like I think about the period of time, Daniel, when, mate, do you know, I used to have to go to Marrickville Council and pay X amount of dollars to get X amount of records that had names and numbers. Like, there was no, CoreLogic, RP Data, ID for me, names and numbers. That didn't exist, Daniel, right? I mean, to give you an idea, I'd have to drive down every street every week to see any new signboards that are up, right, for the expired listing strategy. Technology has meant that we should more than ever be more efficient. And, you're a guy that's transitioned well, because you've come in, you were the traditional agent that's had to become a tech agent. I'm fascinated what technology that you're using, and particularly, I mean, we are, this is a Realtair sponsored session. I do want to ask you about how has technology improved the efficiency of your operations, and maybe touch on some of the things that you're, using with tech at the moment in your business.
Yeah, as I said beforehand, just simplifying everything. Like COVID taught us a massive lesson, and I've always thought that our industry is way behind. Say, you get to the restaurant, you get greeted at the front door. They take your details, they sit you down, they put the order in, goes to the chef. The chef brings it out. It's marked off. They've got table settings and know where everything is. Now, this technology for the restaurant industry was around 5 to 10 years ago, and what COVID taught us is the reliability. Like, we couldn't do things. And I had a whole range of goodies I wanted to roll out. And what COVID enabled me to do is roll those out. There was no excuses. Our staff had no going back. It was like, burn the boats. We're going forward. And it really enhanced what we did. And it was, COVID wasn't a blessing at all, but the technology was. And what it did to also do is it brought in acceptance of technology to our consumer, because it's the only platform we could embrace. Now, I'm going into market appraisals. I'll do say I got a landlord that wants or another agent, and I'll come into this in a minute. I can shoot a video, put in a proposal and send it to the customer. They can see my proposal and a video on the property in the same documentation. I'll send it via WhatsApp. I'll send it via text message. I'll send it via email. There's so many points. I could send it any way I want. And it's so easy, consumer friendly, professional. It's just spot on. And that's what's really enhanced our role. But on top of that, I think what it's done is it's also created some structures too for us. So, anywhere from your database all the way through to the listing appointment and the pre-listing kit, and then all the way through to the follow-up, and using our phones. Like, I know Josh Teslan well, and he lives just around the corner from me, literally. And when I went and seen Josh for the first time, he blew my mind. I thought this guy was going to get an APO, literally.
Wow.
You know, I thought that the amount of text
Tell me more
messaging.
about that. Go on.
Okay, so what Josh and a lot of agents do is they and his office is do a lot of text messaging of any comparable sale that's relevant to their patch. So we were doing all that, but not to the levels that these guys were. And then we've just taken it a little bit further with pictures and more visuals, and using apps like Shortcuts, which you guys got to look into because it's part of the free Apple ecosystem, and basically getting your database to work for you. And I might go and see a listing, do a market appraisal, and then prior to that market appraisal, even I'll have some tiles of recent sales that I've sold in the area before I've even met with this customer. And then after I've met with them and we've done the spiel and met with them, and we will continue to keep them up to date till they're ready if they're not ready yet. So those little things in creative automation saves me time. And as you say, you're going to judge people different chapters, and I'm at maybe chapter 5, whereas some people are at chapter 1 in my career. So for me to go out and prospect and go and hit the doors and do door knocking, I just don't have the time to do that anymore. Thankfully, I'm getting more inbound calls than I'm doing outbound calls. So how do I communicate effectively with my audience or people who have been out without neglect? So I use technology to help me do that. And that's the very best advice I can give, because if you're going to keep that consistency of communication, saying, hey, I'm still here, hey, I'm still here, remember me, but then you're losing time and you're building up, your audience and so on. You've got 2.5 to 5,000 customers you're dealing with. There's absolutely no way you're going to be able to touch base with these people. No way. So how do you do that scalability wise? Well, text messaging, MMSing, emails, of course, relevant stuff. The use of video work. I use a lot of video for, things such as, I might do a market update, but I'll use that market update throughout the entire month. So we'll report, and each of our agents will do a shoot, and we'll have all our agents lined up, and we'll give them a script, and they will just go through that script, all the stats and so on. They'll use that video content from YouTube, post it through YouTube, use those links, and then we can use it through communication to our vendors, keeping them up to date and put us front and center. And that's really, really important that we're doing that regularly. That's just a few of the ways that, we've really seen technology become our friend.
In the living room, when you're pitching for business, how do you use technology there? How do you use technology at a listing presentation? Be curious.
Yep. I use a couple of things. I use prior prepared case studies in a digital format. Don't want to leave it with them. There's stories about every property, so that's in a PDF form that I've created from, say, Canva or something like that. We've also used, we either use, depending on the client, a digital version. So with Realtor, it's got a great option where you can actually cycle through a carousel of each comparable. So it enables us to, when we're pitching, enables us to actually show the customer in more depth how that property relates to them. And we'll make comparisons. Yeah, this one's got a modern kitchen, this one's got 2 bathrooms, so on. So the visibility of it is really key, and it looks sharp. So that's in the lounge room. We also use things such as, case studies. We'll show from our database prospective buyers that may match their property. So we'll simply bring up a list of clients that will match their style of property. We'll show them a campaign. So if I'm running a case study, for instance, let's say, for instance, I just sold one at 29 Eden Street, Granville. We've had about 25 to 30 buyers through it. We had a reserve, be very discreet about this, but it was, we got quite a good price. It was about 400,000 above for reserve. But the point is that's a great case study. Now I can go back and say, all right, this is how it all happened. These were the KPIs we met. These are the amount of inquiries we generated. This is the number of individual versus open home inspections. this is this is the portals that perform the best, whether it's realestate.com domain, whether it be, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We've got the data at our fingertips. So if we can also sell the benefits of marketing in the same appraisal and give the confidence to the customer, say, this is the facts. Here it is.
Listen, that's a great story there. If you got any, can I ask you, is any stories that you've got apart from that tech has made a big difference in, the way you deal with clients or just doing deals in general?
Yeah, look, a bit like what you said beforehand, anywhere from digital signing, I had a customer who had a property in Westmead. We sold it, we went to market, sold it, but client seen it in the first week of the campaign, went back to Canberra. The owner was in Malaysia. I went on a quick break and went to Coffs Harbour. We transacted in 30 minutes. Now, where could we have done that and done a digital signing of an exchange contracts? Clients' solicitors got their contracts in their hands straight away within 30 minutes. So that to me is, like you said earlier, is a no-brainer. Like that to me is just, and we used to come into this office, Tom, and we do a lot of tenders. We used to have piles and piles and piles of contracts. We'd sign a contract with a buyer. We present it to the owner all in one hit through our tenders process. And we used to have a whole pile of them. Now, our agents can do it from comfort of their office or even at home in the evening on a Saturday afternoon, call their vendors and send those offers through to the owners digitally. And it's a lot more professional. It's a lot quicker. And so that's one big thing. The other big standout for me has been the use of, I'll use the app, and this might be one for the listeners. There's an app, if you've got an Apple phone, don't believe it's on Android yet, it could be. It's called Spark. And what I do is I'll go through a home, I'll do a video of the home. So if the client's, it's an investment property of theirs, and I've won lots of business this way. So I've gone in and I've actually filmed the property, which they probably haven't seen for 10 years. And they're managed through another agent, for God's sake. They see what's happening. I give them some verbal advice. I send through, I create a WhatsApp page with the customer. They get that uploaded. I send through a proposal also embedded with the video inside into the Realtair model. And then I send that off to them. Now, they get speed, they get visibility, they get my advice, they get to know me because the level of communication I've built prior to that market appraisal and post, and they get the information they need to. They go, this guy's our guy. So then I get the business. And the managing agent hasn't even picked up the phone yet. So that for me is a game changer, and that's happened multiple times.
I love those the two apps before you mentioned. That was Spark, was that one, and then there was another one before you mentioned.
Shortcuts. So there's an app called Shortcuts. It's on your phone, Tom, I reckon. And I'll give you an example of this, okay? And what it does is enables you to send multiple messages of properties. Say I create a sold little tile, like I've sold something, I'll put together something on Canva or something through our head office, and I can send multiple customers. We just sold one at Gozo Road, got a 3.85 million. Amazing result for the area, really good result. We sent out everybody in the Greystanes area that was in my phone. I've put everyone I can. I've done a marketplace before in the last 4 months or more, and every single person got that information on the Sunday. Bang. Now, how long did it take me? It took me literally, I think, to set it up, maybe 10 minutes because I got the template. And then it was off in my phone and I pressed the button and it shot it out for me. So it's just using that tech, and it's called Shortcuts. I could spend a whole day on it.
By text message?
It's fantastic. It's via text message, via your phone, with no cost to credits because it's coming from your phone. So it's extremely effective. And it also, what you do is you set up in your contacts what they call a list, and the list will enable you to sort out pipeline. So I'll have a 0 to 99, 3 to 6 months, 6 months to 12 months pipelines for my customers. I'll also put a suburb pipeline, like categorize them in the pipeline, and I'll also categorize them into other things such as developers. So I've got 480 developers I regularly contact. And, for me to SMS that information via my CRM is going to cost me a fortune every time we get a new piece of information. Now I could be on the road. I don't need to log into my CRM anymore. It's in my phone. So I'm sending that through at pace, and the response is much more effective. It's visual, it's better, and it's personalized too. If I want to put, hi Tom, we've just sold, Gozo Road grey stains for 3.85 million. We can send that out to you personalized, and it takes the first name off your contacts that you put in there, and it personalizes it for you. So it's a bit of a no-brainer for me, and it's a free app in Apple ecosystem.
Okay, gold. Want to ask you, by the way, everyone, and Susan in the background, if you don't mind putting in the chat box and into Facebook, for those of you that aren't Realtair clients that have made the decision that 2024 is going to be your year, I suggest that you go to that link, realtair.com.au/resources/Tom Panos/prospect. You can see the test there. I won't read it out. You get the gist of it. You go there and you have a heap of prospecting resources to help you get more listings. That's Realtair. That's the URL there. You're a Realtair client, right?
I am.
How long have you been with Realtair?
I will admit, not very long, but I'm loving it. So it's certainly gives me some advantages that previous systems haven't. It's really, and I'm sure Shane doesn't mind me saying this, but it's really evolved, so it's got better and better. So
I agree.
I
agree with that. I agree. And there are so many people that turned around, and that's the thing about Shane and Peter is I think the fact that they're in tech, but they think like real estate agents. It's always,
exactly.
Isn't it that, like, what it's like I've got the real estate gym, and that's a tech business. And when I sit there and I'm talking to tech people, I just feel like saying all the time, I get all of that, but they want to list and sell more homes. You need to understand that, right? Do you reckon, like you got a big team of people there? Do you think that the tech savvy agents are better salespeople and get better results for their clients, or do you think not the case?
No, I do think so, because I think they have more reach, and I got challenged, I suppose, by a few people to say, why aren't you doing enough video, or why aren't you boosting your properties? Why aren't you spending and investing into that? And that's a form of tech, boosting your properties and getting it out there. So end of the day, you're getting more people through your doors through tech like that. That's tech. But also I think speed, if you're not getting back to the customer with relevant information, or you're not reminding them of a deadline, or you're not, reminding yourself of, certain events that you need to put in place, or via the aid of tech, well, then you're going to fail your client. So yes, I agree. I think that generally, yes, I think that it hits the pocket of the vendor if you're a better agent with tech.
Okay. Last question. AI, the buzzword of all buzzwords in tech. You're aware of it, I'm sure, but are you using it? Where are you at with AI?
Yeah, look, I use it. It's almost like a bad word, isn't it? Chat GPT. Never heard a word. I thought, what the hell is that? Chat GPT. What is that? When I first heard it, I thought, is it a new virus or something? I don't know. But anyway, it's but Chat GPT has been great for us in circumstances, because you can put together a good. I can shoot a video. So Tom, we'll put in 7,000 square meter block, 53 meter frontage. Great proximity to Parramatta and Central Gardens estate. You can put all those things and say, write me an ad, and it'll give you a video script for you. And sometimes you're racing from here to there and you're squeezing this video and you want to get it done and you want to do it well and you just got that brain fog on that day and you pop it into ChatGPT and my videographer and I, and we go, bang, there it is. That's it. That's the one. So things like that on the fly might be a proposal to your customer and you just don't know how to word it in the right way. It can help you there. You might want to put in together, how does an auction work? You'd be amazed. The information training's a good one. You know, how do you elaborate to your team what the important, you know, you might say four key points of negotiation. You could form a whole strategy from that, you know, with your team. So these are all things you can do that you can utilize ChatGPT with, or AI. AI is obviously, we use it also from a different point of view. You know, we used Rita for a very long time. Rita was mining our database. We've also got another one called iRealty, which has been also owns our CRM. And so we're getting leads through, you know, artificial intelligence, you know, generating, say, this person's hot, call this person. So we're getting feedback. If a client clicks our newsletter more than twice, we know they're interested. So, hey, Bob, hi, Bob, you're not going to say that I just seen you click my newsletter twice, scare the hell of them. You're going to start looking around. But what I will do is I say, hey, Bob, just want to know if you're still in the market, you're still looking for a property. Well, actually, Daniel, I am. I'm actually looking at your brochure right now. What a coincidence. So, you know, there are instances where you can actually apply technology to be more effective. Don't go the spray effect. Don't get the Tommy gun. No pun intended there, Tom. And spray away. Be a sniper. Pick out what you actually
Love that.
can.
I love that. Forget the spray and pray. Be a sniper. Be a sniper.
Yeah. Click them off and make sure that you're hitting the target of the people that do want to engage in real estate. Otherwise, you're just a pest.
Mate, absolutely brilliant. Listen, Daniel, congratulations. By the way, everyone, you're listening to one of the great real estate agents of Australia, over 100 sales a year. Form is temporary, class is permanent. This guy's been doing it for a while. You know, we're talking about, by the way, he does have a team that is a classy team, because I have a feeling South have won more premierships than any other team. Am I right?
More than the Roosters. Yes, you're absolutely correct. More than the Roosters. You're right.
Malcolm will be fuming, because I do a podcast with Troy and John. One's a Rabbitoh supporter, one's a Rooster supporter, and there's a lot of tension between those two. You've been listening to this guy here, one of the great agents in Australia. I want to ask you finally, mate, your take. Is the stock levels there? Is the stock there? Appraisals happening?
Yeah, they are. And you know, we're finding we've had 3 cracking months. We've had a great couple of months and we've put a real listing focus, but yes, they're there and they're selling. So it's been a bit of a buzz. It defies relevancy. Like, was it 12 interest rate hikes in 14 months? Is it, Tom? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. So I know you reported it's a bit of a patchy market. Yeah, look, certain parts of the market might not be performing as well as others, but generally speaking, I think in our marketplace anyway, we are in an affordable bracket. Generally, we're doing very well and we're getting some record sales that we weren't getting in what was perceived the peak of the period, you know, 2% interest rate. So we're missed.
Have the prices gone back to the COVID boom prices?
They're above it, Tom.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would you say, the last 6 months?
Yes, I would say definitely in the last 6 months, particularly for our market, new builds, cost of construction, and also time of construction's delayed. And that some of the new products are really getting a premium for that reason. All
righty. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been presented to you by Realtair. If you're not a Realtair client, I suggest that you go and explore it further. Realtair, you've got in the chat box, that's the URL there. It's on Facebook as well. Daniel Starr from Starr Partners in Maryland has been my co-pilot today. I want to thank you so much, Daniel. And
You're welcome,
I
Tom.
want to wish you a great sprint to the end. You'll be working, I'm sure, till around December
24th, baby.
December 24. I like that.
Absolutely. And we'll be back early too in January. Don't worry, we've got a strategy for that too.
I bought, by the way, don't write off. I bought the house that I live in. I've lived in for 10, 15 years. I bought it on December 24 at 5 o'clock. I basically had a very good real estate agent that said, Tom, here's the deal. Right now, I can't tell you what's going to happen next year. I can't tell you whether this vendor is going to listen to someone over Christmas lunch saying to them, you're giving it away, right? I don't know that. Get it done now. You like the home? Get it done now. You do, like people that like to bring closure, you know, and I think vendors do as well. Vendors want to go away at Christmas knowing that that's it, it's done and it's dusted, you know.
And the other thing too, Tom, is that buyers, other industries are closing towards the back end of the year. And so they're available, the buyers are available. Listings shoot downwards and there's more buyers. So we find in our market, we're actually busier. My wife doesn't see me till the 24th. She's quite happy about that, but that's not the point. It's just the point is that we're all the way up and then we can go hard and then go home and enjoy Christmas, that 10 days, and everyone's happy.
I've got to tell you, Daniel, nothing makes me happier than a Real Tear webinar. One more thing does. When I watch the Tigers, and I've watched it a couple of times in the last few years, when they have gone against the odds and beaten the Rabbits, including that 1 point game, I think it was last year. I don't know if you remember it.
Didn't we win that one, Tommy?
No.
When Tom Burgess went over and you thought you had the game and we really had it? Was that the one?
You're absolutely right. I just remembered. And the guy ran 100 meters.
I remember that.
Yeah. Let's finish off on this point, right? I want to thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next month on Tech Tuesday. Stay well.
Thanks, Tom.